The Christmas rule my parents enforced that finally made sense too late. Growing up, my parents had one strict Christmas rule that never made sense to me. No one was allowed in the house after midnight. No friends, no cousins, no exceptions. Every year, the same routine. Christmas Eve dinner at exactly 6 p.m., presents at 8:30, hot chocolate by 10, lights off by 11. At midnight, my dad would lock the front door, check the windows, and set the alarm. He called it protecting the house. I hated it. When I was 16, all my friends were sneaking out, hosting after midnight parties, meeting up with boyfriends or girlfriends. Meanwhile, I was stuck at home listening to my dad do his final security check like we lived in a bunker. If I complained, he'd just say, "Some rules aren't for now, they're for later." I thought he was being dramatic. I broke the rule once, Christmas Eve, senior year. My friend Alex begged me to come over after midnight, just a few houses down. I waited until my parents were asleep, climbed out my bedroom window, and left a note saying I'd be back before morning. At 12:37 a.m., my phone rang. It was my dad. He didn't yell. He just said, "Come home, now." When I walked in, my mom was sitting at the kitchen table, crying. My dad didn't punish me. He didn't ground me. He just said, "That rule exists because of what happened before you were born." Then he told me the story they'd never told anyone. When my dad was 19, his younger brother Mark was home from college for Christmas. On Christmas night, just after midnight, Mark went out with friends, said he'd be back in an hour. He never came home. A drunk driver ran a red light 2 streets from their house. Mark died instantly. My grandparents had waited up all night, the tree still lit, presents untouched beneath it. My grandmother never put the decorations up again. My dad said Christmas stopped being joyful that year. It became something to survive. That's why no one leaves, my dad said quietly. If everyone's home, everyone's alive. I didn't sleep that night. Years passed. I moved out, got married, had a son of my own, and somehow, without thinking about it, I made the same rule. Christmas Eve, midnight lockdown, no exceptions. My wife thought I was being overprotective. "Let him live a little," she'd say when our son Ethan got older. When Ethan was 14, he begged me to loosen the rule. Said all his friends were hanging out after midnight. I told him no. He stormed off, furious, calling me controlling. I almost caved, but something in my chest tightened. That night, just after midnight, my phone rang. Unknown number. A police officer asked if I was Ethan's father. My hands went numb. There had been an accident. A group of teens driving home from a Christmas party. One car hit black ice on the highway exit. The officer said my son's name wasn't on the list. He wasn't there because he was home, because I'd enforced the rule. 2 of his classmates didn't make it. Another was in critical condition. The driver had been speeding, trying to beat the clock before curfew. The next morning, Ethan sat silently at the table, scrolling through messages from friends. At one point, he looked up at me with red eyes and said, "If you'd let me go, I would have been in that car." I didn't say anything. I just hugged him. Last Christmas, Ethan didn't complain when midnight came. He helped me lock the door, turned off the lights, even checked the windows, just like my dad used to. Some rules feel cruel when you don't know their origin. Some only make sense after they save your life.